Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Valheim, the Viking survival game. Now we're used to running around fields and forests, but there's also burial chambers, dungeons and delves to explore. Let's take a look. Now this particular burial chamber is found in the Black Forest, and as soon as you go into the Black Forest you're going to get visited, should we say, by skeletons. They're going to be armed with missile weapons, bows and arrows, or they're going to be armed with swords and shields. That's why I've brought my shield and a nice big stone axe. This particular burial chamber, I found this method to be the most effective, and that's to walk in there basically with a massive shield. Now, it's going to be dark, right? We know it's going to be dark, but you can see those skeletons coming with their glowing eyes. Now, I've applied a little bit of a filter on this. It is very dark if you're not using a torch. Now, if you've got a torch in one hand and a club or an axe or whatever in the other hand, then, you know, where you're going to use your torch. So it's all about, I think, blocking with the shield, hammering the skeletons with the axe or your other melee weapon, and then when you can, having a look around with a torch in your hand. That's the method I use the most. What I found around here as well was these lovely glowing mushrooms and also these surtling cores, and you can build things like the kiln and the smelter with those cores as well. So pick those up, make sure you've got enough space in your inventory that you don't want to go leaving anything behind. Now I've opened a door, swap from my torch directly to my melee weapon, my axe, give them a good clubbing, and there's two skeletons there. And if you're careful enough, you can edge your way forward and block them in the doorway. With one strike, you can then hit two opponents. As soon as they die, they fall into bones, and you can then get bone fragments. The bone fragments are good for upgrading your club, upgrading your helmet, upgrading your leather pants, all that sort of stuff. So it's worthwhile picking up every single thing you can come across. But remember to use that shield for blocking, because they've got superior weapons to you. In most cases, they've got swords. So having a good block with that shield, whether it's a round shield or the long shield like I've got here, is really going to help you as you go forward in this game. Now I've entered an antechamber now. There is a chest in here, but you can see a purpley magenta glowing pile of bones. Now for me, this was spawning the skeletons, and there were a couple of skeletons in there as well. So I fueled up on food and then started to press forward into that one particular antechamber. Again, using the shield to block and clubbing the living daylight out of them. As I went in, there was another skeleton there as well. Again, armed with a sword. I made short work of him. And then the pit in the middle, the skeleton pile of bones, the evil skeleton pile of bones, spawned another skeleton. So I had to fight two the same way, but I used the doorway to my advantage. The evil bone pile, give it a good clubbing and it will stop spawning skeletons. That's one of the first things you should do. Aim straight for that, but not at the expense of getting hit yourself. Because let's face it, I've walked in there in a pair of leather pants and a leather helmet. Who were misses. And there's another circling core there as well to pick up. So once you're through this one particular aspect of this burial chamber, be sure, fuel up on your food, make sure you've got some food in there to replenish your hit points, have a little bit of a rest, make sure you've got some space to pick up all the swag that you've got in there. Now moving in, you can see there's decorative swords on the walls. You can't pick those up. I managed to get a circling core. I got some coins, 5 of those, and there's a chest, a mouldy old green chest over in the corner, along with some amber pearls as well. All this treasure, that's what that is. And you know, it's going to unlock other items in the research and design tree. So I'm picking up as much as I possibly can, doing a bit of swap around. I mean, you know, I can leave some stone behind, and you know, that's one item of leather. All these are holding up slots, so it's worthwhile having a good look before going into these areas. Moving on now, got my torch out, so I want to see exactly where I'm going, and I can block the first couple of attacks with the shield anyway, giving me time to go to my hotkeys and then bring in, say, an axe or a flint axe. 3 shields on the wall here. You can't pick those up, unfortunately, but in that chest I have found a ruby, which is good stuff, and feathers. Feathers, well, you need feathers to make decent arrows and not just the wooden ones that I've got, so definitely need those. Moving on now. Make sure I've got all the chambers. There's obviously a closed door in front of me. Let's go. And I found these areas to be well designed, you know, a bit suspenseful, and it's a break from the norm of running around, you know, outside shooting deer, getting chased by grey dwarves and things like that. You know, going in to a pit, you know you're going into a bit of mischief. You're going to get ambushed when you're in here. You know, I think it's a great addition to the game. And of course, there's nothing stopping you building in here as well, I suppose. Anyway, moving on and back through the areas. Using that shield for blocking is key. Making sure you've got a light source is also key. Making sure you explore all the areas. You don't want to leave anything behind, right? Because once you've done it, I mean, you want to move on with the game. You don't want to keep coming back all the time. And once you're satisfied, you've explored everywhere, then you can move on out and move on with the game. Go and put your rubies in your chest, all that sort of thing. So I found this particular buried chamber not that much of a challenge. A few skeletons in there, a couple of rock piles. The other ones I've seen have been a bit more complicated, but then again I was really new to the game, so I didn't really know what was going on, and managed to die a couple of times, which put me in a bit of a precarious position because I was walking in with just a stone axe and no shield. Either way, Valheim, shaping up to be an absolute fantastic game, and what with over 3 million in the first 2 weeks of people lining up to join this game, I'm sure it's going to evolve no end. Now if you want to leave this area, obviously go up towards the light, press E and you'll exit. I picked up the mushrooms, good source of food, open the door, the last remaining door, swap some weapons around, make sure I've got a decent axe with some good hit points on it, and onwards. Now, I was a bit disappointed here. I thought there'd be more in here, but no, just a couple of mushrooms. Pick them up, because why not? A little bit of more exploration. Got my torch out. A couple of cave-ins. And that is just generally it. One more door left open. Nothing in there. A few mushrooms again. A bit disappointed by that, to be perfectly honest. I was looking forward for another big fight, but there you go. So that was my first burial chamber, really. Some of the other ones, like dungeons I've been in, I didn't last very long, but this burial chamber exploration in the Black Forest I think is a great addition to the game, and it has furnished me with quite a few new items. I've been Ricardo, thanks very much for watching. Check back for more videos in the Valheim series. I'm getting through the game. I think it's absolutely fantastic. You know, and I think it's going to have a real bright future. Like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.